Hi. See, it's harder on here. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Great.
Morning.
Morning.
Can I suggest that everyone mute themselves unless you're doing the talking? Otherwise, there'll be a lot of vibration behind you.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. All right. Think maybe that's everyone that's joining. Let people trickle in as they do. I've never done this, so bear with me. I think someone's connecting still.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi. All right, so for now, we're just gonna have everyone mute themselves so then there's not any background noises. So when it's your turn to talk, we'll let you talk. All right, we all good? Everyone can hear me? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Good.
All right, great. So for those of you that don't know who I am, I know I've met a couple of you, but not a lot of you. I'm Heidi. I'm the volunteer coordinator over at Journeys. And so we're going to go over kind of like what's happening right now with everything that's going on. We'll have Carol Marie kind of explain exactly like where the clients are at, how many clients are there, and all of that. So yeah, so we can just have Carol Marie take over and yeah, have her go over that. That works for her. And if you guys don't mind muting yourselves if you're not talking right now, just so we don't hear any extra noises. All right, Carol Marie.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Like Heidi said, we're going to see how this works. Looking forward to trying it out. Yeah, so for, did we say that we were doing brief introductions or we? Okay, sounds good. So, like I said, I'm Carol Marie, and I'm working closely with Heidi. I know many of you, most of you, but not everybody, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how we could best go about doing introductions here, but any thoughts on that, Heidi?
I don't know, because I don't know if everyone's in the same order.
Uh-huh.
So let's just, I have the list of bad sites here, so we'll just go through the list. And if anyone's from that church, then just speak up. All right, so Grace Lutheran, anyone here?
I'm here, Karen Flash.
Great. Thanks, Karen, for joining. Holy Family. Anyone in here from Holy Family? Nope. Okay. We will send this call to St. Mark's.
We've got at least three. I see Marilyn and Maura and Mike Mulkey.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, guys. First United. No? Okay. Kingswood.
Susan Wilson.
Great. Thanks, Susan. Christus Victor. No. All right. First Press. See a couple of you here.
Michelle Hollifield.
And Amy Heppelman.
Hey, guys.
Conroy.
Great. Thanks, guys. Presbyterian of Palatine.
Wayne is here.
Great. Thanks, Wayne. Wayside.
Video.
Anyone from Wayside here? No. All right. St. James.
Yes, Jean.
Great. Thanks, Jean. Willow Creek.
Kathy Stern.
Great. Thanks. CUCC.
Kathy Winters.
Great. Atonement.
Lori Almaraz.
Awesome. Thanks, Lori. St. Mary's.
Thierry and Rich will be joining shortly.
Awesome. Great. Trinity United. No. All right. Prince of Peace.
Bonnet should be here.
Maybe. All Saints.
Monica Fiedler is here.
Great. Thank you. St. Alphonsus. All right.
We do have Molly from Wayside here.
Great, great. And then our saviors. And yeah, okay, great. Thanks, guys. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so we'll have Kara Maria kind of take the floor and tell everyone what's going on. If you have any questions, I guess just turn your mic on and speak up. So, Kara Maria.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. So we have been working pretty hard over the last few days to get people into hotels. Like on Monday, Beth gave us the okay to start working on that. And basically every day since then, we've been trying to identify hotels as well as identify our guests and getting them in and getting them over there. So it's been a lot of work. It's been primarily John, myself, and Michelle, who's been working on that. Michelle's one of the other case managers. John's the Hope Center manager at Journeys. And so the three of us have been really focusing on that part of it and getting people in. With the help of First Pres, they've had a day center open, so that's made it significantly easier to get a hold of our clients when that was not an option to have them at the Hope Center. So we're very grateful for that. But it has been tricky. So we started with the Red Roof Inn in Arlington Heights. We had a really good experience with them in Hoffman Estates when Willow Creek sponsored a Thursday night about a week ago now. It does not feel like a week, but it was about a week ago that was sponsored. So we started with those. We had some success. That's where most of our clients are right now, is the Red Roof Inn in Arlington Heights. They gave us a good discount. It's about $47 that were there. So $47 a night for our guests there. So that's primarily where they're at. We also identified a second hotel. We're doing some hazard work at Journeys right now, so we're not all in the office at the same time anymore. And so John really spearheaded finding a second hotel, and we ended up going with the Comfort Inn, which is right next door. So it's very easy, hopefully for things like food drop-offs and, getting access to our clients. They will be right next door. And they gave us a significant discount. I think their rooms typically go for over $100, and they're meeting, I think, and maybe even lower than what the Red Roof Inn was offering us. So they've been excellent partners so far. We have probably, 10 rooms over there. So not nearly as many as we do over at the Red Roof Inn, where we have closer to 30 rooms. And we're all doubled up pretty much. There's a few people who have like a single room, and that could be for a variety of reasons. They are, have particular mental health issues, that sort of a thing, where it's best if they're on their own, just for their own safety and security and sense of relaxation. So, but most people are doubled up. So that's why we have about 40 or 50 rooms right now between the two locations. And so we have around 60 guests at the Red Roof Inn, again, 30 rooms, so 2 in each room. And then another 20 or so at the Comfort Inn, but there's significantly more single people at the Comfort Inn than there are at the Red Roof Inn. So what we've been doing the last few days as we're working out some of these kinks has been providing them with 2 meal drop-offs. We've been trying to stay away from the words breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because they're not always breakfast, lunch, or dinner foods. So a meal drop-off in the morning and a meal drop-off in the afternoon. Ideally, I think we'd like to see it closer to the evening time for a second drop-off. But right now, that's what we have been doing, is 2 during our normal office hours. So we're working on that. That's been a little tricky. It's been difficult because the time has been hard to communicate with the guests. So I think one of the first things we're really hoping to do with this new mobile system is having like a definite, like, here's when we're dropping off the first and here's when we're dropping off the second. because that seems to be a consistent issue is guests miss the mobile meal drop because they didn't know the time. So we're doing our best to communicate to the guests when that mobile drop off is, but it is tricky and we can easily miss folks if they're not in their room when we call them, that sort of a thing, if they're working. So we're running into a lot of problems with our mobile meal drop-offs, and I think with our partnership that we're hoping to do, we'll definitely fix some of those problems. So the services that we're kind of putting into a mobile version are mail, definitely, in addition to food. So what we're having the guests do is give us a call in the morning and say, hey, I'd like my mail. So we're just going to get, everyone who requests it will put their mail in a box, and then we'll bring it to them during the mobile meal drop off. At least that's what I've been under the impression of what we will do. So those are the services we're hoping will be mobile, along with, dropping off some additional hygiene supplies, cleaning supplies, stuff like that on occasion. I don't know if we're going to do that as often as we do meal drops, but maybe once a day, maybe once a week. I'm not really sure about that. I know from the hotel perspective, they replenish tissue, paper, toilet paper, and toiletries and stuff like that once a week, I believe. So we may need to help bolster up in the in-between, time. So we may need to do it, if they're doing it on Monday, we may need to do one on Thursday, something like that. So still working out exactly what that will look like as we're developing this program. Services we're still offering at the Hope Center. We are allowing guests to make appointments. So our main location, used to be a walk-in center, and we've shut that part of it down, but guests can still meet with their case managers if they set up an appointment in advance, which is something I don't know if we've ever done that before. Well, I think in a couple different circumstances they have, but this is probably going to be an extended period of time where it's only by appointment only. So they were also offering showers still, and then a mobile food pantry. So if they come and they're like, I need food, we will offer them a bag of food from our food pantry. So if they come to our door and they're not people we typically house in hotels, that's, there are normal food pantry guests or they're ineligible folks, they can still access those services because unfortunately we won't be able to house folks who are ineligible at this time in the motels. So that's kind of where we're at. I believe with the services we're still offering at the Hope Center, services we've taken mobily, and I think that's where we're at. So as staff, we're going to continue to help do mobile services, and maybe it will mostly be hygiene supplies and that sort of a thing if we can get our sites hooked up with this plan in a significant way. So I think I will turn it over to Heidi to explain a little bit more about that.
All right, great. Thanks, Karen Marie. I also forgot to introduce someone who's not here from a PAD site, Father Corey, who's from St. Vitus. He was the one that helped get us that money for the hotels. So thank you, Father Corey. You're awesome. And John as well. He's from St. Vitus as well. So thanks, guys, for joining us today. So I'm going to go over like this mobile meal program that we kind of have planned out. I want to thank Lori from Atonement. She kind of helped me put it all together. She like read my mind and put it on paper, so that's great. So I'm just kind of going to go through what it's going to look like. If you guys have any questions, we'll just kind of save those for the end. And then I'll send you guys this information, obviously, when we're all done with this meeting. So it's going to be like a PAD site, kind of. But obviously, everyone's all together. So we're going to provide free meals each day, 7 days a week for at least the next 3 weeks. There will be a total about 90 meals per breakfast, lunch, and dinner because we have about 90 clients in the hotels. Each church will be able to sign up using the Sign Up Genius that I've created for the meals that they would like to prepare, as you would at your own site using your Sign Up Geniuses as well. I know most of you do that. So the meal choices are up to you guys, but keep in mind that there's no refrigerators or microwaves available in the rooms. Some of them do have microwaves, but some don't, so let's just try to keep it all uniform for that. Meals can be prepared by the volunteers, or you can order them out from a local restaurant. Carol Marie will send out a rosters, just like she does to you guys every night for the pad sites, so that the correct number of meals will be prepared. The rosters will include the room numbers and numbers of guests in each room, so that those that are delivering the meals know how many go to each room. There will be 2 drop-offs per day. So like you do at the pad sites, you'll give them breakfast with a sack lunch. So that'll be the first drop-off between like 7:30 in the morning and 8:30 in the morning. And then there will be a dinner drop-off. So that would be preferably between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock at night. Each team will create a team of deliverers to take the meals to the corresponding rooms. So these teams will consist of about 3 people, just to not overcrowd the hotels. Preferably those that are on the team would be individuals under the age of 40 with no underlying health issues or suppressed autoimmune systems, you know, kind of following that CDC guidelines of keeping everyone healthy. If a church decides not to have a delivery team, that's okay. We do have our Journey staff that can cover delivery of the meals as well. We have our drivers, and then some of us have been doing the mobile meals as well. The delivery will be contactless per the CDC guidelines. So the individual delivering the meals will place the food in front of the door, knock on the door, and walk away immediately to maintain social distancing. Carol Marie has been to the hotels, so she knows that the Red Roof Inn has external doors, so we don't need to worry about entering the building. And the Comfort Inn has internal doors, and Carol Marie has made them aware of our delivery process, and they are okay with doing that. So that's basically what the program would kind of look like. So yeah, do you guys like have any questions, any inputs? You guys can kind of do this like you do for your sites that you do now. You know, you have your shoppers, you have those that cook the meals, and then you can kind of come up with a meeting space for the meals to get from the person preparing them to the person delivering them. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? I know I might have Lori step in and talk about how Atonement might do it, since she kind of came up with all this stuff for us. So yeah, pretty much the gist of it.
So Heidi, it's Sue Geegan.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, it says Pat, but I'm on my husband. So are we, I'm sorry, I came in a little late. Are we responsible then? We're normally a Sunday site, so is that when we would be responsible for delivering the meals on Sundays? We would maintain that?
So yes, so Lori had suggested maybe the sites stay on the nights that they already are on. So that way they can split up the meals amongst like the 3 sites that are on Tuesday nights. They can split it up that way. But if we need more help, obviously other sites can maybe overlap and try to cover up those gaps.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Heidi, this is Sue from Willow. Question, what type of food are people preparing? I mean, there's a lot of guidelines with food being prepared in people's homes. Is that what you're asking us to continue to do?
I think that would be okay as long as you guys are following the guidelines at home. I have created like a list of policies and procedures that I would like for you guys to follow. I can read those now, or I can send them out to you. Just, you know, if you're sick, don't cook the food. Obviously, if someone at your house is sick, you're not allowed to cook the food. Constantly washing your hands, of course, like you guys have been told millions and millions of times the past few weeks. Gloves must be worn at all times. If you guys don't have gloves, we can provide them for you. At the Hope Center, we have gloves to spare. I say that, but you never know. And then also for like boxing the meals, we have boxes. The meals will all be individually packaged, so then you can just drop it off at the door. We have to-go boxes available at the Hope Center that you guys are allowed to utilize, of course. So yeah, just I can read off the guidelines that I've kind of written out. if you guys want me to. It's pretty much, you know, basic cleaning and sanitation and maintaining the area and stuff.
Heidi, this is Monica Fila without Stains. We find that Gordon Food Service, soon GFS, is a really good source for gloves as well as all kinds of, you know, containers.
Yes.
So I would suggest, you know, that everybody goes there and see what they need.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely use that as a resource. Thanks for that, Monica.
Hi, Heidi. This is Jean from St. James.
Hey, yeah.
Hi. And we were hoping to use local restaurants to help support them, and also parishioner-owned restaurants.
Yeah, yeah, that would be awesome. Supporting your local restaurants, especially at this time, would be great. Sorry, did you want to add something, Jean?
No, thank you.
No, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And, you know, restaurants, they're very strict about following, you know, sanitation guidelines and everything. So yeah, just if they're able to box up the meals separately, or if you get big hotel pans from them and then you box them up separately, that's a great idea. I think that's awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jean. I was going to ask the same thing, but we would, if we order from a restaurant, they can't deliver directly to the hotel because they don't know where to drop them off, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We'd have to drop it to whoever is in charge of the delivery, and then our delivery team would drop it off. Okay.
Yeah, that would be preferred. I mean, obviously, because they won't know the hotel room numbers or how many people would be there, because you guys will have the rosters yourself. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi?
Yep.
This is Jean again.
Okay.
Is the Comfort Inn a possibility to just do a lobby drop-off? Is that?
Marie, I don't know. It just depends, I think. We don't want to like overcrowd the lobby for them, you know.
True. Yes.
They seem to be a very flexible partner. So if that happens on occasion, I don't think they're going to be too concerned. But they are very strict about the social distancing side of things. So like we, you know, can't even stand 6 feet in front of the volunteers, or excuse me, in front of the staff at the desk. So that might be the only concern, is that if everyone comes down to the lobby at once, that might mess with their very strict social distancing thing they're trying to enforce. So we could always talk to them about it and see if we can do it on certain days so they can expect it. Or maybe, you know, we can let the guests know, here's 5 people to come down at 10:05, 5 more come down at 10:10, stuff like that. We can work that sort of thing out at the Comfort Inn, especially just because there's a lot fewer guests, and you know, we can make that happen. I think they're going to be flexible, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kathy Stern, did you want to say something?
Yes. I have 2 questions. I'm from Willow, working with Sue. I'm a volunteer, and I'm having a little trouble visualizing, since they don't have microwaves in their room. Do you have like example menus? I'm thinking mostly about dinner, of things that work, that would help us kind of give us a guide for people.
Yeah, so the dinners are gonna be a little more make and go. It's gonna have to be pretty quick, so then it's already still hot, and then we're delivering it directly to the rooms right away. So it's gonna be kind of like on the spot, like you're gonna make your pasta and then box it up right away and then get it out. So, but if you guys wanted to make, not 100% sure. Lori, did you have ideas? I know you tried to come up with some type of menu, so.
So we did, this is Lori Almaraz, Atonement. We did do a little bit of thinking around that. It's difficult because availability of food is different in grocery stores right now than it's been in the past, right? So what we did do for Journeys was provide some ideas of lunches for 3 days, and breakfasts for 3 days, and dinners for 3 days. Just sort of giving an example of what each might look like. But we wanted to also stress that everybody needs to be able to do what works for them. So if people are getting lasagna 2 days in a row, that's just the way it is. But we did recognize that it's a little bit harder right now to suggest that each menu be specified because you might not be able to get what you need to prepare the meals.
That kind of. Oh. Sorry, Kathy, we can't hear you.
Heidi? Heidi?
Who's talking?
Can you hear Molly?
Oh, Molly. Okay, there you go.
Sorry. You know what? I just wanted to, I guess, just to be clear, so because Nancy's on as well, and we're just kind of a little bit confused as to, so if our site, which is a Wednesday night site, we sign up and we work together with Palatine Pres and St. James, we need to kind of come up with about 90 breakfasts, 90 lunches, 90 dinners, or 80 right now, or whatever the roster is going to be that day. And then do we drop them off? We mark the bag? Are we going to have to, you know, like we do with the lunches, we put their name and their room number on each individual brown bag or whatever? Or how are they going to be dropped off individual meals, 3 meals?
So the breakfast and lunches will be delivered together. So it'll kind of be like a breakfast of like a bagel and cream cheese and some fruit. So something cold that they can eat. And then a sack lunch like you would provide at the pad site. So those will be dropped off together. I don't think you really have to label the bags, only if it's like a single person room or like a room with a family in it. All the other rooms are majority doubled. So just dropping those off together, I think would be fine. And you wouldn't have to so much worry about the labeling those ones.
So, I mean, I guess if we, instead of labeling, would we be able to just drop off, you know, at, let's say at Comfort Inn, you drop off 60 breakfast bags, 60 lunch bags, and 60 dinner bags? Or do you want, she said something about putting the room numbers on them.
Okay. Room numbers, as long as you have the list in front of you, I think that's fine. But maybe putting like two breakfast and lunch meals together in one bag. And then that's when you would drop it off at the door and knock on the door and walk away. Just so you're not, you know, walking in with 10,000 different bags of lunches and stuff. That's just an idea. If you guys wanted to just have your 60 meals and grab 2 and go put 2 down, grab 2, go put down. It's completely up to you guys on how you guys would like to do that. But I would suggest maybe putting 2 meals in a bag, dropping it off at the door.
Wait, can we only do 2 at a time? I guess it's just not really clear how this is working.
Oh, no.
I don't think. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, I know we're all trying to work through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can bring in like the whole box of them, and then just go door to door and dropping them off. Does that make sense?
So I can kind of explain what we've been doing at the hotels. So what we've been doing is we've had volunteers pack up the meals and then put the meals into a bag. So it would be breakfast and lunch for one person, breakfast and lunch for their roommate into one bag. And then we would put all of those bags into the bus, and then they all came downstairs to grab the meals out of the bus. So they're all uniform, they're all universal. They each grab a bag. If their roommate is there, they only grab one bag because it's for 2 people. And so it made it very universal and yeah, that sort of a thing. So it doesn't have to be individual. In fact, I think it would be a little bit too difficult to do individual. So, you know, usually at the pad sites for lunch, we would take everyone's order and then, you know, specify exactly how many PB&Js and ham and cheeses and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to need to get to that level of individualism that we usually would do. And we've told the guests to be flexible as well. We're just going to be able to provide what we can provide. Ideally, at least 1 hot meal, but we're saying it may just be cans of food. Like we're working to make sure that they know there are limitations to what we can do in this particular kind of setting. So hopefully that brings a sense of ease that you don't have to do it super individualized, and 1 bag of food that feeds 2 people will go to each door. And it doesn't have to be, you know, so individual. I hope that helps.
It's Susan Wilson from Kingswood. What about drinks? How are you handling milk and juice and coffee and things?
We've been passing out water bottles. We've been passing out water bottles, that sort of a thing. I think we sent a whole box of juice with our bus driver for the families, that sort of a thing. But it hasn't, like I said, it hasn't been fancy, and they're not expecting fancy. So it would be great if we could do refrigerated things like milk, but you know, that we don't have that luxury right now.
So do you want us to just do bottled water then?
That would be great, I'm sure. Things like soda, you know, that's such a treat for them. If you had the resources to do that, I'm sure that'd be fine. But again, perishable foods, you know, we're trying to limit that, especially for the breakfast and lunch drop off, so that it can be flexible.
Yeah.
What about any guests or any clients with food restrictions or dietary restriction? Are you identifying those?
If we had them, you would know about them. At this point, we don't have anyone like that, so don't worry about that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Given that there's a lot of resources you're trying to gather, I think it's good to remember that everyone has access to fresh water in their hotel rooms. So you might want to look at, rather than using resources for bottled waters, you know, other types of decisions. It's just a thought, you know. And does everyone in the hotel rooms, do they have reusable water bottles? Or is that something that would be a benefit to them?
That's something we could probably do, especially because at Journeys, we've in the past been pretty limited with passing out water bottles since they can't have open containers at the pad sites. I'm under the impression that there are quite a few people that have their own water bottles, but yeah.
A question, do any of the rooms have refrigerators in them, the small ones?
Some of them do. The ones at the Comfort Inn do have refrigerators and microwaves. Some of them at the Red Roof, it's very random which ones do and which ones don't. So that's why we're trying to make it, you know, so that everyone can have the same kind of meal. But there are going to be people who have microwaves and people who don't. So we're hoping maybe to transfer some more people over to the Comfort Inn, that sort of a thing, because, you know, of those luxuries of refrigerators and microwaves. So if it does change in the next week, we will let you know. But right now, most people are at the Red Roof Inn, and they don't necessarily have refrigerators or microwaves at this time.
Carol Marie, it's Molly again. I have another quick question. So if we do the Wednesday night, since we're Wednesday night site, would we do the Wednesday breakfast and lunch, or the Thursday, you know, the Wednesday dinner, Thursday breakfast, lunch?
So what we were kind of imagining was, I think, if Heidi can correct me if I'm wrong, we were thinking each site would pick up 30 meals if they were a Wednesday night site. So they would take 30, another site would take 30, and the other site would take 30, so that you would only have to focus on those, you know, that sort of a thing.
That
and then,
could, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what you were asking, I think it was Molly who was asking, I was thinking, yeah, you guys do your dinners like you would on your nights, and then do the mornings like you would do the next day at your pad sites. Would that make sense?
Yes, we do the Wednesday.
I think it'd be easier if, this is Monica, if we could just stick with the day. So Saturday would mean for us Saturday
all
morning,
day.
Saturday evening. Otherwise you go over and it's, I think next day it's confusing.
I agree. I think that makes the most sense, just from a logistics standpoint and coordinating our volunteers and things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if Wednesday is, if everybody else is in agreement, I think that probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, if you guys think that would be easiest, yeah, I think that would be fine. Whatever. Yeah,
And then
you
we
guys
can coordinate with our sites, or other shared sites, you know, St. James and Palatine Pres with us. We can go offline and kind of come up with a plan, I think. Is that okay with Jean? And I think who else is on, Wayne? Or
Yes, yes, Wayne is on.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk offline.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Agreed, we can do that offline.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have a suggestion. You know, if you're talking about 2 deliveries a day, if we are responsible for dinner and breakfast and lunch the next day, what makes the most sense to me is 1 delivery a day. And if we're sticking away from, if we're moving away from perishable items and things like that, it makes sense to drop dinner, lunch, and breakfast off at the exact same time. That feels like we're going to cut our time in half, the number of volunteers needed in half, and it just, to me, that makes sense. What do you guys think?
This is Lori from Atonement, and I'll give my opinion. I think it would be nice if people still have a warm dinner.
Right.
So having a dinner drop off enables them to do that. But then in the morning to have breakfast, if you drop off a morning with a breakfast and a lunch, you could still put something in that lunch that might be ham and cheese or something like that. But if you're dropping it off cold in the morning, it will make it safely until lunchtime. So that way people have a little bit better variety of what they can eat. It is a little bit more work, though, I totally agree with you. But that was why we were thinking that you would have a dinner drop off and then a morning drop off, is really to extend the ability to have more food choices.
Hey guys, this is Laura with FUMCA. Are the hotels not providing breakfasts at this point?
Not at this time. They're at the Comfort Inn, they have some, but that's not for the Red Roof Inn, so.
Carol Marie, can you do one more clarification of, because I guess after somebody just raised the question about the delivery and taxing the volunteers and trying to go to that one delivery, but if we're doing 2 deliveries, can we have like 1 or 2 cars bring the bags over to the hotels, or do they have to be delivered in 2s? I guess that's not real clear to me. Like the delivery is a drop off, right?
Right.
So these, Carol Marie, these are parking lots for these hotels. And for the Red Roof, while they don't have the conveniences, at least they have the external doors to the parking lots. So whoever your delivery teams would be, you can park wherever you would think is most appropriate for what you need to deliver. Take the bags to the room numbers that you're assigned, and then knock on the door and leave. So that reduces any potential for contact. The other hotel sounds like you're going to need to be going inside, and I guess the hotel is going to allow that. Probably want to think about then how your delivery team wants to do that, whether if you have younger people or if it's only young girls, go 2 by 2s. Think of safety from that perspective a little bit. But for the most part, it's just easy to park in the parking lot, however many people you feel you need to bring from your church. I don't think that's going to be an issue, except possibly over at the hotel where you have to go inside.
So Molly, just to clarify what I'm thinking is that you would have 1 or 2 people driving the meals over there, maybe 15 meals in one car and 15 meals in another car. And then you might have a couple of extra people to help distribute them. So you don't have to have 30 cars going over there, just a couple of cars with multiple meals in them, but then a couple of people to distribute them to the door.
Okay, that makes it clear, because I wasn't clear. I thought we were dropping them in the lobby of the hotel or whatever. We weren't bringing them to the actual rooms. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. Sorry about that.
Thank you. No problem. Thanks.
And I think in terms of safety for everybody involved, for the hotel, is it the Comfort Inn where you go inside? Is it the proper hotel theme?
Yeah, that's right.
I would suggest that we as volunteers from Journeys take our food to the room numbers, so we're not creating any issues from social distancing. It's as safe as possible to do it that way.
Yeah, so the idea behind it is you guys will get the roster list of the room numbers, and then you'll go to each room number, knock on the door, leave the food at the door, and then just walk away right away. You're not going to sit there and wait for the food to be picked up by the client. You're just going to knock and then walk away, because you want to maintain that 6 feet. You want to maintain that social distancing. So yeah, that's kind of the safety. Rules around
DoorDash.
Yeah, like DoorDash. Yeah. Kathy.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
This is Joel Hartland from Incarnation. And are these the hotels that are on South Arlington Heights Road by Algonquin?
Yeah, they're on Algonquin. Mhm.
You know, our church is a half-mile from there. And to the extent that it could be utilized as any form of staging, meal heating, toilet paper supplies, those type of resources, I think it's worth exploring.
That's super generous, Joel. Thank you.
Yeah,
That you
thank you.
could join us today.
Mhm.
Joel's one of our summer sites. So I don't know if we have other summer site folks on here, but yeah, that wasn't one that was read off. So Incarnation, Joel's from Incarnation, and yeah, I don't know if Good Shepherd's on or not, but that would be the other one. So thanks, Joel. Yeah, that's
I crashed. Sorry about that. But yeah, just looking towards our May startup, now's the time for us to be coordinating teams and understanding what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. Is your church open right now? Like, are people able to utilize your kitchen that you guys have? Is that,
Well, we can probably better talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Effectively, the church has been closed.
Okay.
So it's not like we have a lot of people in and out of the building at this point
Yeah.
in time. Honestly, there's probably been nobody going in and out. We've been in conversations about having outside food drop off and pickup, just for not the people within the program, within the shelter, but the others that we have some ideas about that as well.
Hey, I have another clarifying question, you guys. I've heard two things that I just want to be clear as we're moving forward is I've heard each site is responsible for 30 breakfast, lunch, and dinners, or is it 90? I'm confused.
so it'll be 30 breakfasts, 30 lunches, 30 dinners. So you're not.
Unless you're on a night with 2 sites, then it might be closer to 45. And of course, this is assuming that all of our sites sign up.
Yeah.
So if not all of our sites sign up, then we'll have to fill in some gaps, but we wouldn't want to force any site to make more than their capacity. So on the Sign Up Genius, it will give the option to sign up for 30 meals here, 30 meals here, 30 meals here. And you as a site can sign up for one, that sort of a thing. I believe that's how it's going to look.
So how do we do that? If they're like, so I'm confused about the whole roster thing then. If I'm signing up for 30 meals, how do I know who to deliver them to if there's 45 people?
I'll be sending out a roster. I expect that it will be consistent every week in terms of like who you would get assigned to, but I'm hoping that, once we get into the swing of things, that won't be as unpredictable.
So to clarify with that idea, Carol Marie, your roster would look a little bit different than what you typically are sending us. You're just sending us a roster that indicates the hotel room number and the number of meals per room. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would probably say something like John Smith and Jane Doe are in room 207. So, and then it would say, that another couple are in room 208, another 2 are in room 209, and those people each get 1 bag because there's 2 people in there. And then we have single bags where only 1 person is in here, so we're gonna make like 9 bags that only feed 1 person, that sort of a thing.
I know that we have several guests who do work. How is that going to work out, leaving meals for them if they're not at the site when we show up?
So that's like a little tricky to work around, having everyone's work schedule. So what I'm hoping is that their roommate will just take the meal in for them and trust that they don't eat it. So yeah, there's really, it'll be really hard to track something like that and like, oh, only drop off 1 meal at this time to them. So I think we'll just keep it kind of consistent and then, yeah, just not worry too much about that.
I want to kind of bring attention to the chat. We've got a couple of questions over here. Tom Jermuska asks, how do you expect to assemble meals? Can you address that, Heidi?
Yeah, so So the people that are cooking the meals, if you guys have access to doing it at your church, that's awesome. If you guys need to do it at home, that's fine too. So I'll just read off like kind of the policies and procedures that I've written up for preparing and packing the food. So if you or a member of your household is sick or symptomatic, you are not allowed to prepare the meals at all. That's just for obvious reasons. You don't want to get anyone else sick. Yeah, and then you'll also have to wear gloves at all times. Like I said, we have gloves available at the Hope Center that you guys are allowed to have to use in your home or at your church or whatever. And then make sure that you're changing your gloves and make sure that you're washing your hands during the time. And then routine cleaning and sanitizing of all surfaces, and the food packaging, like I said, we have available at the Hope Center. So packaging individual meals, they have to, once they're packaged, you cannot keep opening them and closing them. Once they're closed, they have to stay closed and intact. And they should be, after that, after you close them, they should only be opened by the person that you're delivering them to. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but.
I'm also going to address Bruce's question here. Tom, feel free to ask for clarification in the chat if you need it. So Bruce asks, can you address how families, how many, if this is extra, at which hotels are families? So right now, our families are at the Red Roof Inn, but we're really hoping to switch them over to Comfort Inn next week. So right now, we only have 2 families in the shelter, well, the hotel shelter. And it's the family of 6 and the Staten family, which is right now a family of 2, so Gina and her son. So that's where we're at right now. So we might need to you know, have that sort of family section set aside when, you know, when it's your time to make dinner or whatever, you know, make sure a family has 3 bags instead of just 1 bag, because that would feed 6 people, that sort of a thing. So, you know, that's where we're at with families. And hopefully they'll get over to the Comfort Inn next week. Again, the roster will hopefully reflect some of those things.
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off of that, that'll go with like, those are like the specific rooms that you'll label. So there'll be like a family of like 4. So you'll make the room bag for 4 people as opposed to like the 2 people that will be standard. So kind of like that, yeah.
Another silly question, but do we provide utensils as well? Or are they, like we assume if it's like a picnic lunch or a, you know, a stack lunch that we're giving them the things to eat with, or are there things at the hotels?
We're going to, here at Atonement, we're going to provide those utensils for one reason, because there are different stories about how long a virus can live on plasticware. So we're going to provide plasticware for each meal.
Yeah, if you guys can provide plasticware, that would be awesome and preferred. Also with like plates and bowls and such. If you can't, we do have some at the Hope Center again that you guys can utilize. And I know we've been dropping off plates and utensils off with our little bags that we've been making for each room that we'll continue to make too. So yeah, if you guys don't have access to silverware or plates or anything, because they might all be sold out, who knows, but you guys can definitely reach out to us and we'll get those to the hotel rooms.
Terry asks, what times have the meals been delivered? I just want to address that. We have been delivering them at about 10 o'clock and about 3 o'clock. We're hoping again to kind of extend that closer into the evening time. We've only been doing that because those are Journey's hours. But we're hoping that we can have like a morning drop off and like a 7 o'clock drop off. But again, if that's not going to work for your site, that, you know, we're willing to be flexible and make sure what happens makes sense for all the sites, or even individualized. You know, we can let the guests know when to expect drop-offs as well. So
we had proposed dinner to be between 6 and 7, so a bit of a range there. And in the morning drop-offs, maybe between 7:30 and 8:30.
yeah, I think those times would be good. I saw Tom asked about how you guys do meals at pads. If you guys did want to split up the meals that way, that would be fine. Just again, like making sure all the proper sanitation and cleaning is done. And then if you wanted to meet up at your church with the hot meals and then box them all together or at a communal space. But then again, you want to also maintain that social distancing. So it's really up to you guys how you want it to be done. What I was talking to Lori about, you guys can have like people that get shoppers to go out, designated shoppers to go out and get meals for you. It's really up to you guys how you guys want to prepare the meals. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one cook prepares and boxes complete meals, which are then delivered. It doesn't have to be that. It could be kind of an assembly line thing, if you would like, and you can continue to do it the style you did for pads. Or if you wanted to bring it in-house and just have one person make, or you know, one person make 10 sandwiches, a different person make 10 sandwiches, a different person make 10 sandwiches, and then all of you meet and then deliver them to the hotel rooms, that would be okay too. So, you know, your call on how best to make that happen. I'm hoping that gives you a level of flexibility. If none of that works, let me know, and we can continue to brainstorm a better way to make this happen.
Yeah, we want to try to keep as much like normalcy as possible between you guys. I know obviously it's not normal what we're doing, but like you guys have like your schedules of meals for the week. If you guys want to use, I have the Sign Up Genius, you can just sign up your church for a slot and then have your own Sign Up Genius for you guys for specific items and everything. So yeah, just trying to keep it all how you kind of normally do it, but obviously a little different. So I don't know if that helps or anything.
That's a good point you mentioned, Heidi. When we were envisioning this, we were thinking that it would be simplest for Journeys if one person per church did the registration, you know, went into the Sign Up Genius and chose your spots where you're going to volunteer. Would just make it a lot easier for Journeys to kind of keep track of things. And in that comment field, if you put your church name, that would help as well, because you might not know other individual names. So just a couple ideas there on using the Sign Up Genius.
Yeah, and going off that, I made the Sign Up Genius, so I'll send it out to you guys once we're all done here. And so I did make it a requirement that you put your church in. So if you are signing up as an individual, just, yeah, throw in your church in so then we know if there's any issues or anything, we can reach out to you guys. Yeah.
So the main, even though we have nights where we have historically provided shelter, at this point, just don't want to be the downer. I have no idea how St. Mark is going to pull this off. Almost everyone who prepares food for us is over 70 and, you know, going to be reluctant to sign up for this at this point. So I just think we need some time to absorb all this and then think about what each church can do. Because I do not believe that we're going to be able to provide 180 meals each Monday, you know, which we normally have 60, 65. I have no idea how we're going to pull that together, especially, so I think we all need to do the best we can and look at this, but I don't know even that I could find volunteers under 40 to deliver the food at this point. So it's a lot to throw at people and say, hey, be ready to pull this off beginning, you know, in our case, Monday night.
Yeah, and keep in mind that you don't have to do that many. It's just 30.
And Mike,
I don't know how I do 10 at this point. So,
Mike,
Yeah.
I think St. James can be helpful with that. We can absorb that Monday for sure, and be helpful with whatever you can
all right,
do.
so I think we just all need to, I guess the point is we all need to be able to take some time after this is over and pull up and figure out what we can do. And each church may be different as far as their ability to do it. So,
Hi, this is Jean. Can I ask one more question, please? Did I hear a 7:30, 8:30 a.m. drop off was ideal for the breakfast?
That's what we were That's what we proposed.
Okay.
That way some people that might be going to work might still be able to get the food.
Okay. It seems like a long time for the lunch to sit, 7:30 till whenever they were to have lunch. But okay, whatever is decided, I hear why you would do that.
Yeah, it's really up to you guys. You could do 7:30, 8:30, or like 8 to 9. Just sack lunches, though, can kind of sit for a little bit. But yeah, it's up to you guys kind of like when you want to bring it in. Obviously, don't make it like 10 to 11 because we want people to have breakfast in the morning. But yeah, something like a ballpark, maybe between like 7 and 9, we could say.
Yeah. Be nice if it was uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can discuss. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of trial and error with this whole thing. So, we could do it 7:30, 8:30 the first week, and then that doesn't work. So we might have to change it the next week. So we'll kind of work through that and work out the kinks. Yeah.
Maybe one option is with dinner, you could bring breakfast and dinner together and make lunch a separate delivery. And then you don't have the issue of lunch meat being out for 4 or 5 hours and breakfast being non-refrigeratable items could come with dinner. That's another option to consider. And for the churches that are farther away, getting, to a prep and delivery by 7:30, if you're already a half hour away, could be a very early day, but I don't know, maybe that could work.
Yeah.
Actually, when you think about it, this is Molly.
No.
When you think about it, they're leaving our sites anyway by 7 a.m. with their sack lunches. I doubt they're all going into refrigerators. I don't know that, but I'm guessing they're carrying their lunch with them until 11, 12 o'clock when they get hungry again. So I think ideal would be to have it refrigerated, but if that's not going to work, I think they're going to be grateful and we do the best we can. And that's what I think everybody's trying to do.
We've got a few things going on over here in the comments section. Chris suggested in regards to assembly, we are considering at Atonement having a single family meet at church and assemble food. So, mom, dad, and kids get together, assemble the food from the shoppers that had picked up the food so they can, continue to spend time together. That's an option. Terry was curious, this was already been discussed, but would like to clarify. Churches would prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the same day, or dinner, our night, and breakfast the next morning. So we had said that it probably makes the most sense to just kind of own your day. So in your case, it would be Friday. So you would do a Friday morning drop off and a Friday evening drop off potentially. And rather than a Friday night and a Saturday morning. So that's kind of what I think the consensus ended up being for that. For Laura, we are housing 90 people right now. So, but that's about 50 rooms or so because most people are doubled up. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense about that. So you're packing 90 meals per night, but it's not per one site, it's for everyone on that night. That would make up to 90 meals, meaning like one site is 30, the other side is 30, and the third site is 30 to make up 90 meals. That's where the 30 comes from. But for nights that only have 2 sites and wouldn't necessarily, have a third site, it might be 45 meals. For say Sunday and Monday, those are just the 2 nights that typically only have 2 sites. If there is a shelter site that would like to help supplement those nights, that's something you could consider, kind of like Jean mentioned. She might be, St. James might be willing to help supplement and be a third night of the week, a third shelter on Monday nights, so that St. Mark's and FUMC would only have to make 30 meals for that particular meal drop off. But like Mike said, it's up to like 180 meals, because it's 2 drop offs. But we wouldn't want that on one site. That's not what we've done that's not what we want to do moving forward. Just kind of split up the burden and that sort of a thing. And ultimately, if you don't want to do this, that's okay. We've just had a lot of questions asking, how can we help? How can we do meals? And so that's kind of why we're trying to continue engagement, is because we've had a lot of questions about how can we continue to help. So if your church is not at the place to do this, that's okay. This is only an option to help, you know, continue to engage as a site, and continue to help despite the inability to be an open shelter. So if we don't have a site that signs up for, you know, say Monday night, then we at the Hope Center will do what we've got to do and do like what we've been doing, which is morning drop off and an evening drop off. It just won't be a hot meal probably. So we will fill in the gaps as well. And I know that we've had other sites that are like, yes, we will help fill in the gaps as well. So if you can't do it, that's absolutely okay. We're not wanting to put any pressure on any site that does not have the capacity to do it right now. This is just an option to continue to engage as needed.
Hey, can I ask something real quickly?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, just a comment that it's just really inspiring during this crisis to see all your faces, and if you don't have a face, I see your name. And I think this reminds me about the fact that our essential truths have not changed. We have God and we have each other. And so I want to thank you all, just on a personal level, of reminding me that though all this craziness is going on outside, our essential truths, that which we hold dear across all our traditions, are holding us together and embracing the most vulnerable. So I'm confident that things are going to be good here, just because of all the little squares I'm looking at right now. What I'd like to, I may jump off soon, but I'm going to talk to my pal John here. And John, and there's John, that was his finger or whatever. What's finger did you put up, John? Be careful.
Just the point, don't worry.
We're going to, maybe John, you and I can talk a little bit about how we can motivate some of your classmates, and I can work with the men at Vider House of Hospitality to help fill some of these gaps.
Yeah.
Maybe, so John, I'll give John a buzz after, and maybe we'll wait to see where the gaps are,
Mm-hmm.
and see what we could do. And maybe even, I don't know, John, you or your classmates, some might be willing to do delivery. That might be something we can think about.
Yeah, and that's, oh, sorry. Go, John.
So I know talking, and they want to do some of the food stuff if it's possible. So like we have people.
John, are you at St. Vider?
Yes, I am.
My son Dominic McKevitt is a sophomore there.
Oh, cool.
So he's been doing the PADS program now for about 3 years.
Sweet.
So I'm sure him and his friends will collaborate with you definitely to support this initiative.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I invited Father Corey and John in this. Can someone turn down their volume? Sorry. I'm hearing like an echo of myself. Okay, thanks. So that's why I invited them on this call. There's other resources besides our PAD sites that are willing to help. We have the guys at St. Vider that want to chip in. We have individuals that want to help out. So we're still going to do like the whole sending new volunteers your guys' way. So if there are people that want to help with making meals that aren't part of the program yet, I want to send them to you guys to fill in those gaps, to pick up, if you guys can't cover, if you guys don't have, volunteers that are under a certain age, maybe there are volunteers that are reaching out that are under that, in that specific age range that can help out. So yeah, so like Father Corey and the boys at St. Vider House, they can definitely work with the churches and kind of fill in those gaps where needed.
Will you send an email basically recapping the instructions along with the Sign Up Genius, along with the precautions of the protocol you want us to follow in cooking?
Yes. I will send it all out to you right when this is done. I have the whole program that I kind of outlined typed up, and I have the Sign Up Genius already created. Like I said, you guys can use our Sign Up Genius just as like a base, just so we know what church is doing what night. And then if you guys want to create your own like side Sign Up Genius to get the specifics down, that's totally fine. And then I'll also send you guys the policies and procedures that I've had written out for this.
Heidi and Karen Marie, it's Sue Geegan. I do have to leave, but thank you very much. I know this is a whole new ballgame here that you're trying to navigate, and I really appreciate what you and everybody at Journeys is doing. So thank you very much. And then I look forward to receiving, you know what, I didn't get the email about this Zoom. I'm glad somebody else forwarded it to me. So can you just make sure that I am on that email that gets the written document so we can start working on that for our Sunday site?
Yeah, sorry about that, Sue. Yeah, we'll make
That's
sure you
okay.
get it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. And
thanks,
thanks everybody
Sue.
else too. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Yes, Kathy.
Sharing the materials from this meeting. Is there a way to connect maybe weekly or virtually on best practices or learnings? Because there's a lot of practicalities here, and there's some creativity and flexibility in all of this, and we have a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So if there would be a way to make some connections amongst this group, and I'm also very inspired by this group, so thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can do weekly touch base weekly. We can do it twice weekly. Like Karen Marie said, we're working remotely some days and working in the office some days. So I am free whenever if we want to reconnect. If we want to do a week next week and then do another meeting like this, that is totally fine. Whatever you guys think. If you guys can shoot me emails, me and Karen Marie, whenever, if you guys have any ideas. So yeah, whenever you guys want to reconnect, we can 100% do that. Yeah.
Heidi, when is the first day on the Sign Up Genius? What's technically the first day that we have?
I know it's a lot, but I'm hoping for Monday. If we can somehow get the ball rolling real quick and figure it all out. Yeah, hopefully Monday. I'm not sure what
if we don't have anyone sign up for Monday, I'm assuming we're just going to take care of it at Journeys.
Yeah, and we do have enough food at Journeys to provide to the clients as of right now.
Hi, this is Jean again. One of my partners at St. James. Nancy, did you have something you wanted to say? Are you on? I think Nancy wanted to commit to 90 reusable water bottles, I believe. And then, of course, we can assist with Monday also. So maybe I could talk to Mike about that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, reusable water bottles would be great. Obviously, they have their tap water in the rooms that they can be refilling it up with. So yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
Okay.
You guys are awesome.
I think
it's so nice to meet everybody. And I'm going to get off and talk to Kathy Stern about what we're going to do. So
okay.
Nice to see everyone.
Thank you so much, Sue.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Does it look like Mondays weekly right now look like the biggest weak link, so to speak?
For now, there's, all of this is still open. So we don't have any particular weak links yet in terms of like major gaps. So I'm sure by the middle of next week, we'll have a better sense of which sites are able to participate and which are not. So hopefully by then.
But this Monday, you might
this Monday.
Okay, so.
St. James can commit to all 3 this Monday, if that would be helpful. We would be happy to do that.
That would be amazing. Yeah. And
if St. Viator wants to help out on Monday too, maybe you guys can collaborate to see, because I know that they're itching to help as well. So if you guys want to collaborate, because I think there's some interest there, maybe that could be a good way to start too.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Yeah. And like Father Corey said, if John and his friends want to, and his classmates could do the deliveries, that would be awesome. So collaborating with them on that through all churches.
We need to figure out how to stay connected after this. So
yes.
Let me just give out my cell phone.
Yeah.
And Jean, maybe you and I can talk, and then
Sure.
John and I are in communication. I know that particularly making lunches might be a really helpful thing that the men at Viator House of Hospitality could be part of. But my cell phone is 773-615-5412. And my email is my last name, Brost, CSV, as in Viatorians, @gmail.com. And maybe we can talk or email back and forth about supplementing on, especially this Monday, with at least with the bag lunches.
Okay, that would be great, Father Corey.
Yeah, that's great. And if you guys do feel comfortable, we can share other people's information just to get you guys connected. Obviously, it's up to you guys, but we can have an email thread going of some sort just to kind of, Cameron, you want to say
We
something?
do have, everyone should have at one point received the site director's contact form. I send that out at the beginning of the season. So all of my site directors should have everyone's contact information. I could send out that list if everyone's comfortable again with this, large email, wrap-up email that we will be doing. So hopefully most people have that information already.
Marie, does that include the summer sites? So we know if there's who the Wednesday night summer sites are?
It does not. I have that as a separate site director's contact sheet, so I can put that on as well.
Just so we can coordinate with the others night, the sites on the night that we have in the, regular season.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, that would be great. Terry asked if a single volunteer rather than the whole church is able to help, should they hook up with the Hope Center or a specific church? If they can hook up with a specific church, that would be awesome. If they can't figure out which one that they can go to, then just have them contact me or Carol Marie, and then we'll get them connected with the site that needs more help, per se.
I've got to go, folks. Take care. God bless you all. Let's keep praying for each other and everyone affected. And John, I'll buzz you a little bit later. I got to get on another video call. And all right, see y'all.
Yeah. Thank you, Father Corey. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Not according to my mother. So,
Thank you. Take care. All right.
I'm sure there's lots of other questions, but I think this has been a very productive first meeting. And we'll definitely send this video out. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out to Heidi or myself or both separately, and we can continue to address questions. Otherwise, we will send out those contact sheets for both summer sites and winter sites. And then we can get out that Sign Up Genius, a roster of where the rooms are, which may not be fully complete yet, but hopefully by Monday we'll have an absolute roster. And then other things we wanted to send out. What else was there?
The policies and stuff. We'll send out all of that stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Burning? No? All right. Well, I just want to say thank you all so much for all of your help during this very confusing and crazy and difficult time. You guys have all been so supportive of us, and we literally could not do it without you guys. We couldn't do without our volunteers. We would have nothing. So thank you guys. You all are amazing. And thanks for meeting with us today. All right. Bye.
Thank you, Heidi, for putting this together.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Stay safe.
Have a great day.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.